Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Canal Algérie's nightly news. On to the headlines. Army General Saïd Chingrihab, Minister Delegate to the Minister of National Defense, PNA Chief of Staff, receives the Rwandan Chief of Defense Staff now on an official visit to Algeria, along with an important delegation. The Energy Minister highlights the importance of research and development in the hydrocarbon sector in Africa while chairing the APPO Forum held in Algiers. And Algeria once again targeted by the French far right as part of a hatred speech against our country. Welcome back. First off, on Tuesday at the headquarters of the People's National Army's General Staff, Army General Saïd Chingrihab, Minister Delegate to the Minister of National Defense and Chief of Staff of the PNA, received Army General Mubarak Muganga, who is the Chief of Defense Staff of the Republic of Rwanda, on an official visit to Algeria at the head of a high-level military delegation. Manal Maafa with the details.
The welcoming ceremony began with the salute to the national flag, followed by a military salute presented to the guest of Algeria by a detachment representing the various branches of the People's National Army. Taking part in the meeting were the Secretary General of the Ministry of National Defense, the commanders of the forces, the Army Inspector General, the heads of departments and central directors of the General Staff of the People's National Army and the Ministry of National Defense, as well as members of the Rwandan delegation. During the meeting, both parties reviewed opportunities for bilateral military cooperation and discussed ways to strengthen coordination on issues of common interest. They also addressed global security challenges with a particular focus on Africa and international affairs. On this occasion, the Army General delivered a speech in which he welcomed the Chief of Defense Staff of Rwanda, highlighting the progress achieved in bilateral relations, particularly through reciprocal visits by senior officials from both countries. In his keynote speech on the occasion, the Army General stated that the Algerian-Rwandan relations have, since independence of both countries, stood as a model of solidarity among the peoples of our continent and example of political coordination on the international stage in defense of Africa and its core issues. He further added that the relations between the two countries have also experienced renewed momentum, particularly following the visit of the Chief of Defense Staff of the Rwandan Defense Forces to Algiers in September of 2022, and the Army General Saïd Chingrihhab's own visit to Kigali in February of 2024. The Army General took the opportunity during this visit to observe, alongside the host delegation, a moment of reflection in memory of the victims of the Rwandan genocide, the 31st anniversary of which was commemorated just a few days ago. On the occasion of the 31st anniversary of the 1994 Rwandan genocide, the Army General Saïd Chingrihab paid tribute to the memory of the victims of this national tragedy, the aftermath of which was successfully overcome by Rwanda, setting the nation to a path of national reconciliation and launching a comprehensive development process that has become a model for the entire African continent.
أصبحت مثالا يحتذى به في القارة الإفريقية.
For his part, General Mubarak Muganga expressed his gratitude for the warm welcome extended to him and his accompanying delegation, as well as his satisfaction with the strong commitment demonstrated by the Algerian side to strengthen cooperation and consultation between the two countries in areas of common interest. He emphasized that such efforts would contribute to enhancing security and stability across the African continent. At the end of the meeting, the two sides exchanged symbolic gifts, after which the Chief of Defense Staff of the Republic of Rwanda signed the guest book of the General Staff of the People's National Army.
The Minister of State, Minister of Energy, Mines and Renewable Energies, Mohamed Al-Qab, presided over the opening session of the second meeting of the Forum of Research and Innovation of APPO, the Organization of African Petroleum Producing Countries and Member States, taking place here in Algiers. This took place in the presence of the Secretary General of the organization, Dr. Omar Farouk Ibrahim, and the CEO of Sonatrach, Rashid Hashishi, in addition to experts, researchers, and representatives of member states. Al-Qab, in his opening speech, underlined the importance of this continental event, which constitutes a platform for an exchange of experiences and reinforcing cooperation between African countries in the field of scientific research, innovation, and technological development in the sector of hydrocarbons. The Minister of Energy recalled on the occasion the commitment of Algeria to the continent, reinforcing joint strategic cooperation with African states, notably in the field of energy. The Minister of State, Minister of Foreign Affairs, the National Community Abroad and African Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, received on Tuesday the Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Azerbaijani Republic, Yalchin Ravayev, on an official visit to Algeria. The meeting was an occasion to review the results of the political consultations between both countries and reiterate the aspiration of both ends to implement the roadmap agreed upon to give a new momentum to the bilateral relations. Both parties reaffirmed their commitment to the tradition of political consultations and bilateral coordination in different organizations in common international and regional gatherings. The Secretary General of the MFA, Lunas Mogerman, co-chaired with the Deputy Foreign Minister of Azerbaijan, Balchin Ravayev, the second session of the Algerian-Azerbaijani political consultations. The two sides discussed the bilateral relations in addition to the promotion of friendship and cooperation ties. On the occasion, both officials exchanged points of view on a set of dossiers of common interest, notably the development of the Middle East, the issue of Western Sahara, and the Sahel region. As for the Algerian-Russian relations, a cooperation agreement and a memorandum of understanding were signed between the Algerian Chamber of Commerce and Industry and a subsidiary of SAFEX and their Russian counterparts. This aims at supporting companies of both countries in investment and exchanges. The agreements were signed during a ceremony on the sidelines of the Algerian-Russian Business Forum organized at the Exhibition Palace of Maritime Pines, SAFEX, in the presence of the Presidents of Commerce Chambers of both countries, the Russian ambassador to Algeria, heads of economic exchanges at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the President of the Algerian Economic Renewal Council, CREA, as well as representatives of ministries and institutions in charge of economic files of both countries. Promising economic ties are also emerging between Algeria and Saudi Arabia, especially in agriculture. The Qatayam unit and Tasal al-Marja focused on fruit production and export, reflecting thus by progress highlighted during the recent visit of a Saudi business delegation. More details with Mili Salila Balaman and Siham Musa Zarruq.
Algeria and Saudi Arabia have expressed a shared commitment to consolidate cooperation in the agricultural sector. One of the country's largest fruit production, storage and export units served as a key stopover during the Saudi business delegation's visit. The company's production capacity is 20 tons per hour. KTM holds quality certification, global GAP certification and GRASP certification. We have now begun the export process with the shipment of oranges sent to Saudi Arabia. As a Saudi, I am proud of this company because it operates at the highest levels and meets international standards. We hope for this strong cooperation to be fruitful. Our presence today at KTM reflects the implementation of real projects on the ground. It is a leading and major company with previous experience exporting fruits to Saudi Arabia. It also had the honor of being part of the inaugural flight that launched the air route to Saudi Arabia. Strategic investment in agriculture is seen as a driving force for boosting bilateral trade, which has already reached nearly $1 billion.
To Constantine, where the Minister of Communication, Mohamed Mziane, highlighted the importance of training to boost Algerian media scene and to build a front capable of defending the country's gains. During the second regional meeting of journalists, media professionals, and different actors of the sector of communication in the east of the country, adding that the objectives of such gatherings is to create debate spaces open to all actors in the sector in order to face the challenges imposed by the evolution of information technology. Later on, Mr. Mziane visited the regional station of EPTV, where he noted the importance of local and regional channels. Coming up in our news edition. Algeria recovers a rare Islamic manuscript of high historical value and great symbolism dating back to 1659. Once again, Algeria is the target of the French far-right's hateful rhetoric, amplified by media platforms that fuel discord. Figures like Bernard Henry Lévy, architect of chaos in the Arab world and controversial Zionist ideologue, are given center stage to provoke and divide. Menden Maafa tells us more.
Hardly a day passes without certain French media invoking the Algerian threat to stoke the far right's ideological fixations. With each wave of tension, studios turn into battlegrounds, launching crude attacks on Algeria through a mix of distortions, absurd comparisons, and calculated provocations. And like clockwork, Bernard-Henri Lévy reappears, a symbol of chaos, masked as democracy, always ready to stoke unrest under the guise of defending human rights. From Libya to Syria to Sudan, he has been at the heart of campaigns that have helped push entire nations into collapse. Behind the humanist facade lies a diplomatic arsonist, one now sentenced in absentia to 33 years in prison by Tunisia's judiciary for alleged conspiracy against state security.
As Mali faces an unprecedented crisis, fuel shortages, and the lack of basic necessities, they're pushing the population to the brink. At the center of the turmoil is Assimi Goïta, whose political decisions and diplomatic isolations are fueling anger and uncertainty. Marad Minisali Balaman and Yusfi.
In the streets of Bamako, anger is mounting. Long lines stretch outside gas stations as fuel becomes increasingly scarce. Essential goods are running low, plunging the country into a deepening economic and social crisis marked by growing uncertainty. At the heart of the turmoil is Assimi Goïta, the man behind the military coup in Mali. Since the closure of borders, trade with Algeria, a lifeline for the country's supplies, has come to a standstill. The consequences are severe. Fuel prices have skyrocketed, increasing sixfold in some regions. Medicines are running out and restocking has become a struggle. Inside the country, criticism is intensifying. Many Malians accuse Goïta of isolating the nation and steering it toward an exclusively military path. Repeated calls for presidential elections have gone unanswered. As Malians face unprecedented crises, they are demanding solutions. Goïta's political strategy, defined by diplomatic isolation and internal oppression, is drawing growing condemnation. While the people yearn for a brighter future, the country continues to slip deeper into uncertainty with each passing day.
In Gaza, the Zionist aggressors intensifying attacks. At least 32 Palestinians were killed since dawn, with a total death toll exceeding 51,000 martyrs in 18 months. The spokesman of the Bureau of Humanitarian Affairs Coordination stated this Tuesday that the Gaza Strip is in the midst of the worst humanitarian situation since October 2023 as a result of the blockade on humanitarian aid entering the Strip. Tasked by the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, the Minister of Culture and Arts, Zohair Balalu, presented yesterday his condolences to the family of the late Tandi artist, Badi Lala. The minister delivered a message of the President of the Republic to the late's family in her residence in West Tahagart. Zohair Balalu had attended the funeral along provincial authorities. The late was buried in East Tahagart Cemetery in a funeral attended by crowds of citizens and lovers of this great artist. A rare 20th century medical manuscript, 12th century medical manuscript once owned by Sultan Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi's physician, highlights the rich scientific heritage of the Islamic world. Preserved in Algeria, it is now recognized by UNESCO's Memory of the World Register. Ms. Salila Balaman and Mariam Damis explain.
This rare manuscript, a testament of the medical breakthroughs of the Middle Ages, is preserved at the National Library of Algeria. Its scientific and historical value lies not only in its precise medical content, but also in its association with its renowned owner, Muwaffaq ad-Din ibn al-Mutanan, the personal physician of Sultan Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi. This 12th century scientific treasure embodies a shared scientific heritage, reflecting the rich cultural and intellectual exchange between the Islamic and Christian civilizations of the time.
This manuscript is the fourth book of the Qanun of Medicine by Ibn Sina. Although the complete work consists of several volumes, we possess only the fourth volume, which is entirely dedicated to medicine and transcribed on a precious material known as Damascus paper. The manuscript addresses serious and complex illnesses such as fevers, tumors, and poisonings. Its impeccable preservation at the National Library of Algeria reflects the importance given to manuscript conservation and the country's technical expertise in the field.
يتم الاحتفاظ والاهتمام والاعتناء بالمخطوطات من ناحية التقنية.
The inscription of this rare manuscript in the field of science and medicine on UNESCO's Memory of the World International Register is a global acknowledgement of the significance of Algeria's documentary heritage.
The end of our news. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.